Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I am finally making this video. As you can see, I have a rather large amount of rice and I've got some porridge oats and I have a little bit of flour. I meant to do this video. If you follow the channel, I've done a little post on the YouTube just saying I'm really behind in Mylar bagging my rice and other bits and the pastas. As you can see, there's no pasta here today. I'm not doing a pasta because we only got a couple of hours until our little one gets home and this is just going to take a little while anyway. However, some of you asked for me to do the video when I do my Mylar bagging. They just go through the few things, basically in packaging the rice and the other things. I did cover this when I did the bushcraft show. I did the little sort of presentation thing. So I'm just going to I'm not going to show you the whole process of me doing like a 50 kilos, which is roughly, this is how much 50 kilos of rice looks like, with a little bit of the porridge oats and a little bit of flour. And I'm just going to take you through how I do this anyway. I'm going to show you the equipment I use and what I use, how I do it. And then obviously I'm going to do this off camera and then show you the final result, which is going to take a little while. Just for all of you who potentially could maybe worried, I have not bought this in a single go, okay? I'm doing my normal regular prepper shops once a week or twice a week. No, sorry, once a week or 2 times a month, sometimes a bit rarer. So this stuff been kind of piled up in the space of a couple of months, if not a little bit longer. It's something I've been wanting to do for ages, but just haven't had the time. And I always see, because we have to use oxygen absorbers and you have to open the packet, I normally prefer to do things in bulk to basically preserve them because they come in the vacuum sealed package. Once you open them, you have to put them in an airtight container, and literally every time you guys open the container, of course, it starts to deteriorate the oxygen absorbers. So I'll try to do normally is when I do my shopping, I'll put all the other tins away and I'll keep my beans, pastas and porridges into like a temporary position, temporary place they live in until I get time to basically do a massive Mylar bag session. So here we are, guys. I'm going to turn the camera around and let's get going. So we're now repositioned. So guys, as you can see, I have everything ready. Today I've got 2 bags, Mylar bags, the sizes I normally use, a little silver one and the big black one. As it looks at the moment, I think majority gonna be a big black ones. They take about 5 kilos of rice roughly and about 4.5 kilos of oats. I've got them ready. I have a pair of scissors. I have some vacuum sealer bags because I'm going to just show you how I vacuum seal rice for a medium term storage. I have a Sharpie pan. I have some labels in a pack of with the Mylar bags. I have my vacuum sealer, which I'll still yet to do the review, and I have the plastic film impulse sealer, and of course it's all going to be running off the solar generator, which is fully charged, and I have some hair straighteners to seal the Mylar bags. So first of all, guys, for all of you who are new to the channel or new to the whole preserving thing, I'm just going to quickly go through with you the difference between the vacuum sealing and Mylar bagging. Vacuum sealer, which is a little machine, very inexpensive, they're about 20-25 pounds. They use what we call a vacuum sealer bags. They are flat on one side and they are textured on the other side. So we only use those guys for a medium term storage. Machine does basically sucks out the air. That means we don't have to use the oxygen absorbers. However, those things won't last forever. So if your aim is only to preserve your rice or any dry goods for, you know, up to sort of 3, maybe 4 years, that's absolutely fine. They're good things for you. If you're looking to preserve your products for further on, anything 5 years until like 25-30 years, then Mylar bags are the way forward with the oxygen absorbers. Okay, the reason is, guys, because this is a really thin plastic, okay, and over the time the oxygen will seep through the plastic and or the seal will break anyway. So they're not basically designed for uber long-term storage. However, it's a-okay for medium term. Just to give you an example, guys, because I know many of you are unsure and sometimes panicking, like when you have rice, it's got a good 2-year shelf life on the packet. If you keep it in a cool place, unopened, you do not have to do anything with it. I've mentioned this before, guys. I found in the garage, in the cupboard there, a rice that was 6 years past date, and that was even a brown rice, and brown rice only meant to last for like up to 18 months, and it wasn't repackaged, it was just by itself, it was just an initial packaging, and it was absolutely fine. So my point is to you guys, do not overly panic about thinking, oh my god, I have to really waste money and package your rice in the vacuum bags or the Mylar bags, unless you seriously like wanting to keep this for really long term. So 2 years initially as you buy it, and it will be absolutely fine for another year or so, providing it's not really hot and you don't have rodents accessing your pantry basically. So I have my rice that is ready, available, just sitting in my pantry. I do rotate it and it just sits in my bags, okay, in the normal bags. And then I'll still do, of course, some of this in vacuum sealer bags for slightly longer, and of course then I proceed to Mylar bagging. So without further ado guys, let's show you one. I'm only doing one because I don't really need any for imminent medium term. I've got plenty already anyway, and I do this every time. I pick the most rubbish pair of scissors to cut my stuff. So come on scissors, work with me. How embarrassing is that? Let me grab another pair of scissors. Note to self, check the scissors before starting the video. Right, let's go with the proper scissors. Let's go again. Right, here we go. We are cutting a piece of, hey, look at that. Like somebody chewed it. Right, okay, so here we have it. We have a piece, let's pick a rice. You might ask, how do you know how much to cut? Well, I don't know. You just do this on the eye, guys. This is how this goes. I just normally measure it on the eye. And again, all depends where you're storing it. Some people prefer storing the rice in the little briquettes like this. So you can put the whole bag in there, pierce some holes in there, and vacuum seal. This is absolutely fine. You don't need to do any more with that. I prefer to take this out of the packet, seal the bag, and then flatten it out so I can stack them up a little bit better. It depends on your storage. So without further ado guys, right, let's put the power on, okay? So let's get it on. Okay, we're on. So first thing we're going to do is the little vacuum sealer. They're so straightforward. We're putting the bag in there, and there's a little Teflon strip here, and we are going to seal the bag. Okay, so we've got the button here for seal, dry, moist products, vacuum, and accessory, which is something else. So let's seal that. It takes a little while, but that's okay. The light shows red whilst it's heating up and doing it. As more you do it, it will take less time because the element is actually heated up, so don't panic. Although this machine is a tad slower than my one I used to have. Okay, we are done. Hopefully you can see this is a perfect seal. Sometimes, and well, not so sometimes, most of the times guys, as a preppers we choose to use a double or triple seal just in case, because like with anything, seals are never perfect, okay? However, because the machine is pretty much brand new, this seal looks like it's really well done. However, just to demonstrate to you guys, we have the machine here that is what they call an impulse machine. That means you press it in there. I have a selection of temperatures on the side, and it is unfortunately trial and error to find out the heat for the thickness of plastic. Okay, but they are great because it's far quicker than using that. So if we try that, and that doesn't actually fit there, so I'm not going to try that, that's pointless, sorry. Stupid exercise. It doesn't work for that, but it works for Mylar bags. So I'm going to unplug that one. Unplug that. Right, sorry about that. Anyway, so here we are, the bag's here. Let's get the rice in. And I'm not, under no circumstances, I'm wasting my oxygen absorber for the rice in the vacuum bag, because they are still slightly porous. So over the time, the oxygen will seep in, so you're kind of still wasting your oxygen absorber, and they are not cheap. So, rice goes in. And it is messy, guys. Every time I do a session, I end up having flour and rice particles everywhere. Particles, ricicles. Anyway, you see what I'm saying. Anyway, so here we are in the bag. Right, next thing, guys, we are putting the rice in here. So, sorry I haven't put up a second camera, but the whole idea of the vacuum sealer, this is the area where the vacuum gets sucked out. So when we position the bag, it's going to be resting in this little alcove here. So we're straightening it out, putting it in there, closing it up, and if you have noticed, I have a chopping board underneath. This is just literally me being overly anal, because I have OCD and I like things straight and perfect, although you will never get this perfect. However, if I just let it rest on the counter here, the bag will become a tiny bit crooked and it's not going to be straight. We are on the same level as the sealer thing, so technically I can spread the rice a little bit, okay, and make it as flat as possible. Not going to be perfect, but it's going to be as best as we can possibly achieve, only if you're bothered by it. So rice is a dry product, so I've got dry button, so it's going to do it by itself. It's going to suck out the air, okay, and when it's reached its peak, when it knows there's no more air to go, it will seal the rice and then seal the bag. It's literally rock hard. I'll show you in a second. It's taking its time. Okay, we are done. So, rock hard. Hopefully you can hear that rock hard piece of rice. Okay, so as I mentioned, we're going to seal this one more time, and let's just press the seal button, and we are, guys, literally good to go. So because it's stored and it's vacuum packed and it's hard, you can stand them up like this in a cupboard. It's whatever you want to put them, that's absolutely fine. If you feel that you want to give this extra protection, because guys, when you have those bags, they are not leak proof in terms of if you rub two of those bags together. So if you, for example, put a lot of those rice bags together and it's forever something you're moving out because you need to get an access to the back of your shelf, for example, every time they run together, because the rice is quite hard, eventually they will puncture. So if you do use them, put them away somewhere you don't have to forever touch them. I had multiple of issues before where I've stored the rice, but then I had to get this out because I need to get somewhere in the back of a cupboard. And when you rub them together, it's tiny pinhole will literally blow up a whole bag for you. And you will know when this happens, when literally it becomes the same consistency, when you can literally swoosh the rice around. And this means your vacuum has failed. Still don't panic. You can either reseal this if you know where the hole is. Otherwise, just keep it and use the rice as imminent kind of, within the next year or so usage. So here we are. We covered this. Super simple, guys. Super easy. Of course, don't leave this on the sunlight. It has to go in a cupboard in the cooler room as possible. And as I mentioned before, I have done some before where I wasn't sure whether the seal is going to be perfect. So I just put them in the Mylar bag just in the dark and just for extra security. But it's kind of a waste of Mylar bags anyway. So this is what we have, okay? Really easy. The same thing, guys, I could do with oats. I'm not doing this with oats at the moment because I do have some readily available for my medium short-term type things. So all the oats and the rice is now going to be going into the Mylar bags. So, and there's a lot of it to go. So the whole idea, guys, okay? Let me just quickly move this out of the way. Let me get rid of that. I can put that backwards. And we don't need that. Right, so I think I want to make sure I've covered everything, guys, for you in terms of the vacuum sealing. The machines are simple. I will do the review, guys. I will do the review. They are uber simple and uber affordable. And you can vacuum seal meats as well before you freeze this. It literally, it's not so it stops the freezer burn, but it prolongs the quality of your meat and prolongs the amount of time before the freezer burn hits the product. So they're really good for that. And also, if not quite sure whether I answered this or not, I know I had this question in the show with the rice, guys, because the rice itself will last you, like I said, for quite a while. After you put this in there, you'll gain another easy couple of years on top in your vacuum sealer. If the seal doesn't burst, you're happy. You could go. It could, for example, that could be perfect seal and the bag will be last you for another 5 years on top. So it all depends on the seal. So, but don't panic if it breaks. Right, so Mylar bags. Right, guys, it's uber important, okay, that they are the thicker the better. Prices of all vacuuming equipment and Mylar bags, everything's been going up through the roof, okay? And I know there's a lot of Chinese companies, and some of them are absolutely fine. I bought some stuff from China for different purposes, for preserving, and they are absolutely fine. But you have to be really, really careful in terms of the quality of the stuff that you buy. Being really cheap doesn't mean necessarily being good. And things like a straight example, guys, which I should have mentioned earlier, is with your plastic. Sorry, such a mess up. With your vacuum bags, I've bought a big roll, okay, of a vacuum bags, and you think, okay, it's plastic, right? It's great. It's, you know, what could go wrong? Well, it was cheap. It was bigger roll, so I got basically double amount of length for the price. And when I got this home and I was doing the video, and I was like, basically, when you pick up a plastic, okay, I could stretch the plastic out. So to me, that indicated that I can put a rice, and even the rice particle could literally just burst the seal because it was so stretchy. And I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna keep it anyway, use it for the freezing things, whatever else. And every time I've been using that, 9 out of 10, it would fail even on meats. It was that bad. So my thing to you guys, if you do buy some from Amazon, do your finger pull test. If you can stretch the plastic really easily, then you return this, because it's literally is no good for anything, even the meat, as already proven. If you're struggling to pull this, like you're struggling to stretch and deform it, then it's good to go. The best one, believe this or not, used to be Lidl, if you can buy them. I've been struggling. They've been showing them in their catalogs for months, like a few times. Like, you know how they do this, like every month they do the kitchen stuff. Never I managed to get them. So they're a little bit more dear on Amazon, but do think you get what you pay for, okay? So be careful with that. And they're kind of the same with the Mylar bags, right? Paying some serious money for the bags if you're serious about storing this really long term. I got those £15 for 100 on Amazon. They're a-okay. They're thinner than those, but by volume, they only take roughly a kilo or a litre, and those will take 4. So they need to be thicker. And those bags are superb, although I can't seem to be buying them at the moment, but I have got myself like a couple of hundred quite a while back, so I'm really sorted for a while. And those ones, as I said, okay for a, because of the volume goes in there. Again, providing you guys leave them alone and do not just stop moving them. Just put them in a box and just label them and forget about them, okay? Because everything can break, nothing's indestructible. So I'm gonna stop talking. Right, bag. So let's go with, we have in one bag, so we are putting in, we're gonna put 5 kilos of rice in that. It sounds like a lot, doesn't it? But I'm pretty sure I normally put 5 in there. Gently open the bag. These ones have a stand. Not all Mylar bags have it, okay, but majority do. Those ones also have a handle, which is, I think, is a benefit because you can easily carry them, 5 kilos. So simple thing is, guys, I'm just gonna go open up my rices. Ooh, sorry, one thing I'm gonna do, forgot to do. I'll need to have space for for the hair straighteners, because we're gonna seal them with hair straighteners. Right, let me just put the rice there. Oh, sorry. Right. It's not, I thought I was so prepared, but tiny bit not. But that's okay. Right. Like in my hair straighteners. Okay, so the reason, guys, we are using hair straighteners is to seal the bag, okay? We have a little Ziploc, if you can see in there. All of the Mylar bags, or majority of the decent Mylar bags, come with a Ziploc and a tear strip. So after you sealed your product inside and you sealed it on the top, next time you want to use it, you just tear it and it's still able to reuse the Ziploc there. All right, so I know for a fact I've been using those bags for ages. I need 160 degrees on my hair straighteners. You can use an iron, or you need to find a happy medium, okay, between, it's powering up, happy medium between burning it and separating it and actually sealing it. So it only unfortunately comes with trial and error. So have one bag, if you're not sure, cut in small pieces and then practice on the temperature so you know what's happening. So let's get the rices opened. Some of you might find, guys, this job of doing the a bulk preparing is a relaxing thing. If I have time, I'm like, yeah, that's great. Let's relax. Let's, you know, chill out and do this. And after a while, when you have a pile up there, I'm like, you know, I just want to get it done. So I'm going to demonstrate this to you, and then I'm going to get my husband to help me to do this because I've got other things I need to do, but I cannot leave this any longer. Okay, so as I always say, that technically I should put the oxygen absorber first, so I'm going to open it up and wash it in there. Generally, guys, right, if I would do this not for the camera, I'm going to fill up all the bags. I'm going to have all bags lined up in here. I'm going to wash the oxygen absorbers, have all the bags open, and then I put stuff in there. But because I'm doing this obviously for you guys to see, I'm not doing this, so the oxygen absorber going in kind of in the middle, okay? But this is generally how you do this, because the longer they are opened, basically the less effective they are. Because we're having about 5 kilos in there, they're 100 cc, you technically need between 2 and 3. However, the rice is kind of in its way, is moisture and oxygen absorber, so you can get away with 2. But again, if you can afford to, I'll probably go with 3 or 4, really, if you're really, really intending to go like really long term. However, I'm putting 2 in each one. Okay, so we're going to finish this with the rest of the rice. And you do make sure you do support your bag. I did this with beans once before, all right? And things didn't go to plan. And I was finding tiny little beans everywhere weeks after I did it. And the last one. You see, they take a lot, right? And the bigger the bags, right, whatever you pay for them, it kind of makes sense because the rice at the moment is still fairly cheap. Yes, it's been going up in price. However, okay, it's worth it because the product's still cheap. You can still afford to, hopefully, to buy the Mylar bags to counteract the rice. If suddenly the rice was like £3 a pack and then buy the Mylar bag, you're like, nah, I couldn't afford to. So anyway, here we are, rice gone in there. I could probably fit another ½ kilo. I choose not to because I choose not to. It's easier for me to do them in 5s. Okay, I'm going to try and squash majority of the air out. Okay, and we're going to seal the Ziploc part, okay? Make sure it is, and it is a bit tricky, unfortunately. This one is like a double seal. Make sure you can hear it click, okay? And it's annoying because, again, at the same time, guys, however thick the bags are, because they're quite rigid, you've got to be careful because bending over when you create things like little kinks like this could also damage the bag. Sorry, I think I touched that. So be very, very careful, okay? So, right, this is done. Next thing, I'm going to stand it up again, sorry for you guys. We're preheated to 160 and we are literally going to go and seal. You can move this around, but it doesn't do the good job. I've got the flexible plates, which doesn't quite help. So, and it gets really hot, guys, okay? So, we're going through. It's easier, right, if you lie down and you slide it, but I have handles. It doesn't work so well. And it's quite a big top part as well. I've got like almost 100 mil on top, so it's all good. It's extra sealing security. Okay, I think we're good. Be careful because obviously it's really, really hot. So, and it holds the heat really well. So, we are good. You can see it's, hopefully you can see this, guys, it's like melted together, shrinked up and it's melted together. So I might go over this a little bit more because I'm not 100% sure. And you got to be sure, guys, if you're preserving stuff like really long term, you've got to make sure. Sometimes, to be fair, 170, sorry. Sometimes I don't really care, even if I melt through the Ziploc bag, because I'm thinking, well, is 100 mil enough of sealing? Or do I need more space? Okay, right. I will trust that now. That's fine. It's good. So, guys, here we are. You can lay it down still if you want to. I store that. Some of them go on the shelf in the undisclosed location. They stand up in the dark. And then some of them I have laying out in one of these plastic storage boxes. So any way you want. But because the bags are opaque, let me just turn this off. there's no light penetrates that, there's no moisture, and there's no oxygen penetrates, especially after the oxygen absorber done its job. Just to make you aware, and again, I haven't done this with that one, is any package that you have, guys, you'll always have nitrogen left in there, okay? You always have the oxygen absorber only removes oxygen. You will always have a little bit of air and a little bit of movement when you are done. This is just how this goes. So don't panic if you suddenly your Mylar bag hasn't shrunk as much as that. As long as you put enough the absorbers in there, this is just how it is. And this is how the manufacturers, you know, when you buy crisps, okay? The bag is bubbly, bag is full, and things are moving around. However, there's no oxygen, they're not going stale because the oxygen has been removed and the rest has been left in. So this is the same principle for storing our rice and anything else you seal. Oxygen absorbers only remove oxygen, okay? So, and there we are. So, now we're going to get into the rest and I get my husband to help me and we shall see you in a second. Hi, look at that, guys, we are done, okay? This is what we have. There is 11 bags, okay? So 55 kilos in total, which is, yeah, this is what it is. I've labelled each one of them. I just literally put the rice and like 5 kilos on it. To be fair, yes, many people say you absolutely must put the date on it. To be fair, I don't bother. And the reason for this is because the rice will last between 25 and 30 years in those bags with the oxygen absorbers. I don't intend to rotate that. This is kind of the thing they're going to sit somewhere under the stairs in the boxes, whatever it is that you guys store it. And to me, I'm not intent to touch it. So I don't feel the need to spend all this money on the expensive bags and the oxygen absorber just to rotate it every couple of years. To me, just makes no sense. As long as I can still buy the rice for myself and to consume, which I'll do, rotate my usual like a usual pantry thing, which is for like about a year or 2 years. However, with the stuff in the Mylar bags, it's pointless for me to put the bag in, say it's been, you know, bagged up in like 2023 for me just to eat this 10 or 20 years down the line, because 10, 20 years down the line, I wouldn't give a monkeys whether it was bagged in at 23 or 24 or 25 or 2019, because I know it's still got a really good shelf life. So it's kind of absolutely pointless, in my opinion. Anyway, people do the things differently. People feel like they might really have to document the dates. That's absolutely fine. I don't bother. To me, if it lasts indefinitely or almost indefinitely, then it's good enough for me. It goes in there, gets hidden away, and this is that. I do, guys, hope I have answered your questions, and I do apologize for my time, taking my time to bring you this video and talk to you about the, obviously, the story in the food. So if you have any questions, please don't forget to comment below. I do obviously always available every time the video comes out, so I normally try to answer the questions there and then. So yeah, please comment below. Don't forget to thumbs up, it will help the channel enormously. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I guess I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.